Okay, this is going to be a brief tutorial on how to use Audacity with your students to create basic podcasts. Now, first thing you want to do is you're going to want to go to audacity.sourceforge.net and download the beta version of Audacity. And what that'll do is put a little icon onto your desktop that looks like headphones with electricity in it. Okay, and that's the actual program. Okay, what you'll do is, this is a very linear program. Basically, it's pretty easy to use. What you want to do is just kind of look real quick, pause, play, stop, backwards, forwards, and record. And record, what I would do first is make sure that your microphone's working. So I'd click on that, and I'm talking, and you can see down here that something's showing up. I've got my voice showing up. So it seems like it's working okay. Always make sure that this is set to microphone, and that's how it'll work. Make sure it's working out fine. Now that was just a test, so I'm going to highlight that and delete that. Now if you have a bunch of these and you want to get rid of these tracks, you can get rid of these just by clicking on these delete things. Sorry, it's running a little slow. Now what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and record my voice, and I'm going to do a little just talking into show you how the podcast works. But before, it's a good idea if you're going to do some music to just go ahead and import in some background music. So I'm going to go to Project Import Audio and bring in just a little fun music called Knick-Knack. Now these have to be WAV or MP3 files that you already have. But you'll see, okay, here we have the music all right here. Okay. So again, these are just leftover tracks from other projects. This is the one we're worried about. And if we play this, you can listen to the music. Okay, now that music looks and sounds pretty loud, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that and go to Effect, because that's where any changes you do take place, and go to Amplify. And Amplify means you can make it louder or you can make it smaller. And it tries to guess the peak amplitude for you, but I'm going to bring it way down a little bit so it's not too loud when I do my talking. So it's taking the sound down. Alright, so now as you can see in here, it's quite a bit lower. Okay, so with that, now we're going to go ahead and record the important part, which would be the student or you talking. So we don't get feedback. You're going to want to highlight that whole track, or in other words, you could probably just click mute here, and you see that turned it to gray. So unmute, mute. And you want to have that turned off when you record so you don't get feedback. And I want my music to play for about, I don't know, 15 seconds, 10 seconds we'll say. So I'm going to start recording my voice about right here at, here's your timeline, 0 to 15 seconds. I'm going to start at about 10 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and record here. Well, here you go. This is me recording, and I'm trying out my voice to try and make it overlay on top of the sound, the background music that is, and then when we're done, we'll put it all together. So, okay, here we go. So I'm going to stop that, and if you look down here, you can tell that this is louder than that. Now, we still have way too much music, so I'm going to delete the leftover there. Okay? And you can go ahead and do fancy things like you can highlight that and again go to Effect and let's see, fade out. And if you want to fade this part in, you could fade that in, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now I have a nice in and out. Okay, if you want to make this louder, again you can go to Effect, Amplify. So let's bring that volume up just a little bit. See, look, it tried to guess what the peak amplitude is, and I'll just bring that down a little bit. It'll make me quite a bit louder. Okay, now let's say also that you've got some background noise or some humming. You can go to Effect, and again you have to have this highlighted first, what you're messing with. Effect, go to Noise Removal, and it'll say, hey, do you want me to get the noise profile? And you click Get Noise Profile, and that goes through and tries to figure out what the humming is. Then you go back to Noise Removal again. Okay, and you say, do I want tons of it removed or just a little bit? You want to stick with just a little bit so you don't end up with echoing noises and stuff. And then you just click OK. And that goes through and it tends to remove some of the background noise and things like that. You'll know that you've done it too much if you get the echoing. And again, if you make a mistake, just go to Edit, Undo whenever you want to undo anything. Okay, so now if we play this, I'm going to unmute this and play this all the way through. We get this nice fade in. Then my voice will start. Well, here you go. This is me recording, and I'm trying out my voice. Okay, and then when you get to the end, it fades back out. We're ready to go. So now we're going to go to File, and we're going to export it as a WAV or something uncompressed. And it says, hey, that'll put it into one track. And you're like, that's okay. So let's put it on our desktop. We're gonna look for knick-knack, and it's gonna be called knick-knack wave. Okay, so save. That's shrinking that down into a wave file. Awesome. Okay, and so now we're going to find that on our desktop. We're looking for knick-knack wave. It'll show up as kind of a something like that. So let's look. Knick-knack wave. There it is. We know it's on our desktop. Now you're going to want to go online and find a free wave to MP3 encoder. And you can just Google wave to MP3 encoder. And just like Audacity, you download it onto your desktop. And then you just go in this and you add your file. I'm going to add the knick-knack one. Okay, click on that. Click open. And it says, hey, this is how big it is, 14.9 megabytes. That's way too big for a podcast. So then you can go to your options and change the encoding properties and make sure that it's set to something about like 32 kilobytes per second. That makes it so it's going to be a lot smaller when we shrink it down. Okay. If you go lower than that, you lose quality. Higher than that, it's too big, so you kind of pick your own medium. I'm going to click encode. And what it's done is it's taken that and it's created another file on your desktop that'll show up as the same thing, but as an MP3. So it'll say knick-knack MP3. Okay, so we've gone through and we've done a podcast here, like Podcasting 101 is one we did with the teachers, and it's encoded into MP3 instead of what you saw earlier, which was like a wave. So once you have it on your desktop, you just go to a site like Podomatic and upload it there, or onto your own server, or TIG is a good one for educators, and you just click on that and upload it to their server, and it gives you a little website where it's hosted, and then you can post that to any website or email that to folks so they can listen to your podcast. And that is how you use Audacity as a teacher or student.